Well, today's video is going to be very short. I started the day out by getting the forge out, getting it set up, getting it fired up. I got my Hardy tool, put it in there. I did some recording of me starting to forge the taper and squaring off this end so it fit in the Hardy hole. And then the lesson that I was supposed to learn from leaving my camera and phone in the sun, I didn't learn. So I get to live and relearn because today it's shut down and I lost a bunch of footage of me tapering this and hammering it out and getting it to fit inside the Hardy hole, which it does, by the way. It does fit in there. So after that, I finished. I realized the phone was dead when I came to change the angle. So I changed. I took it out of the sun, put it in the shade, let it sit for a while I finished working on this. Since I had lost everything and I didn't want to let the forge cool down, and let the camera cool down, let the forge cool down, start over again. It was too late. I was already in. You can't do it. You can't do it. Once you start, you got to keep going. So I got it in, and then I got it to fit in. I cleaned it up a bit, and then put it back in the forge, shut the forge off, and let it cool down in the forge while the phone cooled down. After that, I got a bucket and some water. I wanted to use oil, but I don't have any oil here. I didn't want to drive to the store because the phone was cooled down and I could start recording again, so there you go. I just used water. So what I did was I got I bought some magnets, some right angle magnets for welding corners together and making them square. I got that out. I tested it. It sticks to this metal sticks to the magnet. So I put this in the forge, fired it up, put this in the forge. I put my original piece of rebar in the forge as well. I used that. I pulled it out early and used that to preheat the water a bit that I had in the bucket. And then I got this up to where the magnet wouldn't stick to it anymore. And I dunked it in the water. I only dunked the top edge here in the water to start. When that stopped sizzling, I was moving it around and making sure it wasn't cavitating and causing air to build to be against it, so it was constantly moving. Apparently, if it cavitates and creates air to make it bubble, that means it doesn't cool as quickly or as evenly, I think. I don't know. So I moved it around, and then what I did was I dropped it down to about here, and you can kind of see that line in it. There's some slight differences in the color of the steel. I dunked it in that far until it stopped sizzling, and then I dunked it just a little bit further. After that, I put it on the anvil, and I let it rest. As soon as it got cool enough to basically touch, I just picked it up and threw it in the water and let the water cool it the rest of the way. I jammed this in the Hardy hole and I cleaned up the edge on here. I flattened it out a bit, but you can see this side is a bit higher than this side. The edge wasn't very straight to start with, so I had to flatten it and then try to put the edge back on it. All in all, I think it looks pretty good. But I can't tell if it's hard. So if you're a blacksmith, I recommend plugging your ears. I'll wave at you when it's safe to listen. Ready? Plug your ears. Okay, for everybody else, I did order some files and some punches. Now I know I should be making punches out of the steel like I said I was going to, but let's face it, that's pretty difficult, and my time is kind of limited. They were very inexpensive. I don't know if they're going to be any good or not, but I'll have a set of punches and and some files. Those should all be here tomorrow. Okay, so everybody else, so all of the blacksmiths that are back now, I put this in and I ground it up and cleaned it up, cleaned the edge up on it a bit. And then as I was grinding it, I noticed that it wobbled back and forth in the hardy hole. So once I got it where I wanted it, I figured, hey, why not? Let's test it. And I hit it back down with the hammer to seat it firmly in there. Because you know the hardy holes are tapered, so as you push it in, it becomes seated more sturdy. And I didn't do any damage to this edge at all with the hammer. So tomorrow, I'm going to take my, I got some files coming. I'm going to take those files and I'm going to test this edge to see if it actually hardened. If it didn't harden, I'll put it back in the fire, or in the forge. I'll let it get hotter than it got, and I'll try quenching it again. This time I'll stop at the store on my way home and I'll actually grab some oil. I guess peanut oil or canola oil is what everybody uses. The Google Nets said it, so it must be true. So that's what's going to happen. Now, as far as today's video goes, you won't see any of that. I was distracted when I connected my phone up to the PC. I was distracted. I hit the select all button on the in Filmic Pro, and I meant to transfer all those files to my camera or the photo library, but instead I hit the delete button. And just because it's, I've been practicing at ignoring what warning boxes come up and just pressing OK, I did it this time. So I deleted all of the footage that I had, including my wrap up from what happened. And it's a shame because I got some really good footage of this being nice and red hot. I got some footage of me being really clumsy with some really poorly shaped my tongs. I set some dirt on fire when it fell. I burned my gloves. There was all kinds of good stuff in there, and I lost it all. So today you just get me sitting in this chair telling you how awesome it was, because it was really awesome. So the lesson I learned today was stop being impulsive with the damn pop-up windows. Stop pressing OK without paying attention, because what you may end up doing is deleting all of the work that you did for the entire afternoon and having to basically start over fresh with no video evidence that anything you're saying actually happened. So that's my story today, and that's why we've got this video going on the way it is. So I don't know if you can see it, but here's my new hot cut hardy tool. There's some pretty interesting colors in the metal that you can't see because that footage is deleted. I got some really cool slow motion spark shots from me cleaning up this edge, which you can't see because I deleted it. So that's what it is. I'm going to dump this into Premiere Pro. I'm going to do some cleaning up. I'm going to edit it a bit and see what happens. If you like the channel and you like the content, subscribe. While I was looking up the oils on the Google Nets, I read that every time someone subscribes to my channel, there's a bell that rings at Google, their offices, somewhere in their office, and it's like really high up, and they go, stop ringing, and they can't make it stop ringing because it's too high. So make the bell ring. It makes them very uncomfortable, which is cool because they can't reach it. It's too high. So subscribe. All right. Thanks. See you next time.